Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into something that's, well, it's set to change medicine as we know it. We're talking about the wild collision between quantum computing and the world of pharma.
Yeah, this quote really nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this culture clash we're diving into. You've got the almost mythical, totally mind-bending world of quantum physics, and then you have the super precise, sterile world of drug discovery. And when those two worlds collide, well, that's where the revolution begins.
So what actually happens when you smash these two worlds together? You know, the bizarre, counterintuitive rules of quantum physics meeting the very deliberate, step-by-step process of creating new drugs. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's the core idea. The thing you have to get is that this isn't just about making our computers faster. Not at all. It's a completely different way of seeing the world. For the first time, we can simulate molecules with an accuracy that was just impossible before. We're talking about modeling reality at its most fundamental level. It's a game changer.
But, you gotta ask, is this all just a futuristic pipe dream? Is it just hype? It's a fair question, right? We hear about quantum computing all the time, and it always feels like it's just around the corner, maybe 10 years away. Is any of this actually happening today?
And the answer is no. This isn't hype. It's really, really happening. Right now, all over the world, powerful strategic partnerships are forming to tackle honest-to-goodness medical problems. So let's take a look at who's actually in the game.
And that's exactly what this is, a global race. But what's so fascinating is that everyone's running it a little differently. They're all taking their own unique approach. Let's start with what's happening in the United States.
So in the US, the whole strategy seems to be about creating these dream teams. Seriously, you've got tech giants like IBM, the folks who actually build these incredible machines, and they're pairing up with pharma leaders like Moderna and the Cleveland Clinic, the people with the real-world problems that need solving. And this isn't some abstract research project. They are going after specific, high-stakes challenges, like designing better mRNA vaccines or finding new ways to fight diseases like Alzheimer's.
Now, what's happening in Europe is really interesting because their approach is all about specialization and, get this, collaboration. You've got companies building custom-built quantum engines designed specifically for pharma. And then there's the Quapharm Consortium, which is just, wow. It's a group of what are normally fierce competitors all deciding to work together. They're basically admitting, hey, this challenge is way too big for any one of us to solve alone.
Meanwhile, in China, the focus is a bit different. It's all about precision, but at a massive scale. You have companies like Xtal Pi, which are already backed by huge industry players like Pfizer and Merck. And they aren't just, dipping their toes in the water. They were already swimming laps in a field where a lot of others are just learning to float.
So beyond these immediate partnerships we just talked about, some players are taking a much longer view. They're not just using quantum computers, they're actually building the foundational hardware, the engines that are going to power the next generation of discoveries.
Take Denmark, for example. The Novo Nordisk Foundation is partnering with Microsoft to build a fault-tolerant quantum computer. Now, that term is so important. See, quantum systems are incredibly delicate. They're super prone to errors. Fault-tolerant means this machine is designed to self-correct, to be robust enough to actually solve the mind-bogglingly complex problems you find in drug discovery.
And if you really want to wrap your head around the sheer scale of ambition we're talking about, just look at this number, 1 million. Australia is aiming to build a 1 million qubit machine. To give you some perspective, a lot of today's most powerful systems have maybe a few hundred qubits. So a stable 1 million qubit computer, that's not just an upgrade, it's a totally different reality. If they can pull this off, it could put Australia right at the center of the global pharma tech map, like overnight.
But the next huge leap forward might not come from the players making all the noise. Let's talk about a country that's been really quiet on the pharma front, but might just be poised to dominate the whole field.
Look, Israel doesn't have a bunch of flashy pharma partnerships to announce. Not yet anyway. And that seems to be completely by design. Just think about the foundation they're building. They are absolutely mastering the hardest parts of quantum computing, stuff like post-quantum encryption and defense algorithms. They have this incredible density of talent and a national track record of taking battlefield-hardened tech and quickly turning it into civilian gold.
And they're not just tinkering. They're backing this strategy with serious cash, over $1 billion shekels. The game plan seems pretty clear. Perfect the technology in the unforgiving world of national security, where there's zero room for error. And then, once it's perfected, pivot that tech to civilian sectors like medicine. Do it surgically, do it quietly, and do it fast.
So, when you zoom out from all these different partnerships and huge investments, what's the end game here? What is this all really about?
Because at the end of the day, it's a total transformation in how we even ask questions in medicine. This technology isn't just about getting faster answers to the same old questions we've always asked. It's about giving us the power to ask entirely new ones, questions we couldn't even have dreamed of before.
That's what quantum computing really unlocks. It gives researchers the ability to explore possibilities that are just beyond the limits of our current computers, to ask questions about how molecules really interact, questions that were basically unaskable until now because the tools to model them just didn't exist.
And this quote really brings it all home. It's the perfect place to leave it, really. This isn't just a race about technology. It's a race fueled by pure curiosity. It's about that incredible creative tension between the world we live in now and the world we could build. And maybe the only real question left is, once these tools are fully built, which disease do we decide to make obsolete first?